We have loads of collaborations today, even from our wordsmith, which is really nice. Now to our first feature. Particles in Motion is an art exhibition put together by SMO Contemporary Art to reveal the works of art and spoken word created by Udechukwu at the Withbreaker in Lagos.
Reality marries technology. No surprise, as that has been the new norm ever since COVID-19 happened. But this comes to the fore in the latest solo exhibition by contemporary artist Udechukwu, who is currently in the United States. So she interacts with the guests virtually in her art show titled Particles in Motion at the Wheatbaker in Lagos.
This particular work in Particles in Motion cover a span of years, and I think what unites them is a kind of coalescing of my own maturity, I would say, as an artist, moving toward really the language with which I could find a way. I think what's been so much a focus for me to really convey emotion.
Particles in Motion is a body of work that is both art and poetry. And so we're very, very excited because the poetry is being presented, framed as works of art next to her drawings and her watercolors. And she is really an artist who uses memory, emotion, line in terms of memory and trying to express the fragility of life and how it's all interconnected.
Beyond the images, there's also a personal side of her which is sharing the spotlight, her poems which have been properly framed in black with the titles to words inked in black, nicely captured on white paper.
It's always been an avenue, I think, for me that's really a very personal one, born out of personal experiences. It wasn't, my poetry was never something that I hoped to publish or really share widely. And when I got to the United States, I did continue writing.
In terms of her writing, Udechukwu is a celebrated award-winning writer. She was shortlisted for the Kane Prize for African Literature, and her work brings out images of the environment, of the natural world. She speaks about love, about pain, about community, about how the fact that we're all connected to the heart of humanity. This particular work, Calling, is where we got the title from, Particles in Motion. And I'm just going to read the last part. It says, "Desire holds in blood this night of our nights, a dance of days where dreams are particles in motion, messengers of yearning, faraway notes calling in yesterday, today, and tomorrow."
The artist is not content with being average, so she's constantly searching and exploring. This is reflected in her creations, whether she's writing or painting or drawing.
It's like exploration with my artwork, just trying different ways of saying and creating narratives. And so I did start writing fiction, which was its own challenge for me. And I got a lot out of the program, not just for my writing, but for my art, because it was a period where I needed to make a sort of leap from one way of utilizing image to a different way and really think of narrative structure.
Her work is sort of situated within a cosmos of space. Ada Udechukwu is very influenced by the aesthetic of uli, which is a visual technique, a historic visual language of the Igbo culture. Uli was practiced by women, used to adorn bodies and also buildings. And Ada's work is very much influenced by this visual form.
They may be tagged as different aspects of the arts, but this creative believes both her worlds suit each other.
In many ways, the writing and the visual work complement each other and have helped not just to learn how to operate in different spheres, but also to give voice to the things I witness.
The exhibition is a celebration of our artistic homecoming, as this graduate of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, still holds firm to her roots. No matter where she resides, this is reflected in her works of art.
It's also very important to remember that artists who came out of the Nsukka school and were sort of celebrated internationally, many of them are maybe not on the forefront of our social media pages, but they really form the bedrock of Nigerian art. And as one of the few celebrated female artists from that era, it's very, very important for us here at the Wheat Baker to ensure that we document artists like Udechukwu, we celebrate them, and we also remember the influence that they've had on contemporary art today. So her work is very meditative, it is very calm, it is very peaceful, and it talks a lot about our conscious and our subconscious understanding of life and the interconnectivity of humanity. When we look at the style of Ada Udechukwu's work, we can see that there is abstraction and there is also very strong linearity, use of line and form. There's a lot of monochrome probably 80% of her work is monochromatic. And yet she has moved from figuration that is sort of in this scene to a lot more abstraction in some of the other works. If we look at this cojoined triptych, we find that it has become almost abstracted, and we see elements that are fused together by this web of lines, and yet when you look close, you see that there are incredibly detailed small patterns within the larger pattern. So there's a sense of worlds within worlds. There's a sense of interconnectedness. And she talks a lot about how experiences and memories have influenced the way she tries to represent those, not in terms of the actual physical memory, but the emotion that it conjured.
This artist emphasizes the need for everyone to take time and find a balance in life, appreciate all the paths that come our way while in motion.